Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah,
Today, we're going to be looking at Balrampur Chini Mills Ltd.
that's right.
and more specifically, their second quarter results for FY25.
They're Q2.
Yeah,
And we've got a few different sources, as always.
yeah, we've got all the good stuff in here.
The company announcement, the detailed financials,
Yes,
a flashy investor presentation,
always a good one.
and of course, some potential questions from you, our listener.
Of course, got to keep those in mind.
So what are we going to be looking for today?
Well, we're really going to try to figure out what's driving this company,
Okay.
especially anything that might be a little surprising or unexpected.
And there are a few surprises, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right off the bat, they announce a 300% interim dividend.
Yeah, 3 rupees a share.
So usually that kind of generosity means that a company is feeling pretty good about their financial situation.
Exactly. You'd think they'd be popping champagne corks over there.
Right.
But then you look at their revenue, and it's actually down year over year,
Really?
both for the quarter and for the first half of the year.
So big dividend, but shrinking revenue.
Yeah, it doesn't quite add up.
Something's a little fishy.
Right, the head scratcher.
Yeah.
And even when you look at the financial statements,
Okay.
they are still profitable.
Mm-hmm.
But those profit margins, they just aren't as juicy as they were last year.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Right.
What's eating away at those profit margins?
Well, if you look closely at the financial statements,
Okay.
you'll see a significant decrease in the cost of materials consumed
Okay.
compared to the same time last year.
Interesting.
Now, this lines up with their lower sugar production.
Oh, okay.
Less production equals needing less raw materials, but at the same time, they've got higher finance costs.
Oh, so that's probably due to
Yeah, rising interest rates
rising interest rates and...
and the investments they're making in these new projects.
Okay.
So some costs are down, some costs are up.
Mm.
And overall, it's putting a little squeeze on those profits.
So it's a balancing act.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this really raises the question.
Yeah.
Why issue such a big dividend?
Yeah.
If your revenue is down and your margins are tighter,
Right.
is it a strategic move?
Mm-hmm.
Are they trying to project an image of, like, stability?
Okay.
Well, to get a better sense of what's going on, I think we need to delve into their different business segments
Okay, let's do it.
and see if that sheds some light on this puzzle.
All right, so let's start with their sugar segment.
Okay.
Because that's their core business, right?
Absolutely.
We see here that sugar sales volumes
Yeah.
and prices are up slightly,
Uh,
but their crushing volumes are way down this year.
yeah, significantly lower.
So how does that impact their profitability?
Well, less crushing means they're producing less sugar overall,
Right.
which explains the lower material costs.
Okay.
But sugar production is a seasonal business,
Mm-hmm.
and some of those costs stay the same, regardless of how much they're crushing.
Oh, so it's like having a bakery.
Yeah, exactly.
You might sell fewer cakes one week, but you still have to pay the rent on the bakery.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay.
So they're selling less sugar, but getting a little bit of a better price for the sugar they do sell.
Yeah, okay.
But those lower crushing volumes are limiting their ability to take full advantage of those higher prices.
It's like having a smaller fishing net
Exactly.
when you're surrounded by a ton of fish.
You catch some, but you're missing out on a lot of potential.
All right, so now let's look at their distillery segment.
Okay.
Their revenue has really taken a nosedive this quarter.
Yes, it has plummeted.
So what's behind that?
Well, remember that government order we talked about from December of 2023?
Uh-huh.
The one that restricted the use of certain materials for ethanol production?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the main culprit here.
Okay.
It limited their options for what they could actually use to make the ethanol, which in turn hurt their distillery operations.
So government regulations can just directly impact a company's bottom line.
Absolutely a real-world lesson in economics.
Yeah.
But here's where things take a bit of an interesting turn.
Okay.
Despite this setback, the company is actually placing tentative bids for a massive amount of ethanol for the coming year.
Really?
970 crore BL to be exact.
Wow, that's huge.
It is.
So they're making these massive bids even though their distillery revenue is down.
Yeah, it's a bold move.
So that kind of tells us that they're anticipating
Yeah.
a
It's like
rebound.
A rebound in the segment?
Maybe they're hoping for a change in government policy.
Okay.
Or perhaps they see other opportunities in the ethanol market.
Right.
It's a bit of a gamble, but it also shows that they're not just sitting back and accepting the current situation.
So playing offense even while on defense.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so let's talk about this new polylactic acid plant,
The PLA plant, yeah.
this bioplastic plant that they're investing in.
Big investment for them.
Yeah, and it seems to be going pretty well.
Smoothly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've even gotten a little bit of government love for the project.
Thanks to a new bioplastic policy that offers financial perks
Nice.
for companies that are investing in this area.
So subsidies interest breaks things like that.
Exactly. So it's a pretty forward-thinking initiative by Balrampur Chini.
It is. So not only are they building this new plant, but the government's basically giving them like a pat on the back and some cash to do it.
Exactly. Some extra motivation.
So why is this PLA plant such a big deal for them?
Well, remember, they're primarily a sugar company, right?
Right.
This PLA plant represents a strategic shift.
Okay.
It allows them to tap into this growing market for sustainable and eco-friendly materials.
Oh, so they're future-proofing their business by expanding beyond traditional sugar production.
Exactly.
It's like they're branching out from baking cakes to crafting biodegradable cake boxes.
I like that analogy.
Okay.
They're transforming sugarcane, which is a renewable resource,
Right.
into a bioplastic that is biodegradable and compostable.
So it's a closed-loop system.
Yeah, it reduces reliance on fossil fuels, and it's much better for the environment.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yes, we have.
Balrampur Chini's Q2 results.
A bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, revenue is down.
Profit margins are squeezed.
But they're throwing a huge dividend party.
Yeah.
We've explored their sugar and distillery segments.
Noted the impact of those government policies.
Yeah.
And their strategic maneuvering.
And we peeked into their foray into bioplastics.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, with this PLA plant. But there's one more piece of this puzzle that we need to examine.
There is.
But first, we're going to take a quick break.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back with more on Balrampur Chini.
Stay tuned. All right, so we're back, and last we left off, we're about to explore Balrampur Chini's stake in Oxilo Finserv.
Right, this financial services company.
Yeah, no, this isn't just some random investment they made.
Okay.
It's a strategic move that aligns with their overall growth trajectory.
All right, I'm all ears.
Okay, so think about the nature of the sugar industry in India. It's heavily influenced by government policies, regulations, seasonal changes.
Right.
Lots of ups and downs.
Exactly. So by diversifying into financial services, Balrampur Chini is creating a more stable revenue stream.
Oh, okay.
That's less susceptible to the unpredictable nature of the sugar market.
So it's like a farmer planting different crops?
Exactly.
To protect against a single crop failing?
Precisely. They're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Right.
And if we look at the investor presentation, it actually gives us some insights into Oxilo's performance.
Yeah. What stands out to you?
Well, they're highlighting key metrics like shareholder funds, borrowings, total assets. They even break down their profit and loss statement.
So what jumps out at you from those numbers? Anything particularly impressive or concerning?
Well, for starters, Oxilo's shareholder funds are at a healthy 1,330 crore.
Okay.
And their total assets are 4,107 crore.
All right.
Now, this suggests substantial growth and a pretty solid financial foundation.
So they're not drowning in debt?
No, their debt-equity ratio is 2.1, which indicates they're managing their debt levels pretty effectively. That's a good sign, but what about their actual business operations?
Right.
How are they generating revenue and turning a profit?
Well, Oxilo specializes in providing education loans.
Okay.
And their loan book has been steadily expanding.
So their interest income is...
For this period, their interest income is 218 crore.
Okay.
While their finance costs are 128 crore.
So that gives them a net interest income of...
90 crore.
Okay.
And after factoring in other operating expenses, their profit after tax comes in at a respectable 48 crore.
Wow. So not only is Balrampur Chini benefiting from that dividend income from Oxilo, but their stake in the company is also appreciating in value.
Absolutely. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah, it really underscores the importance of strategic diversification.
Right, especially for companies operating in those volatile or cyclical industries.
So it's like having a safety net.
Yeah.
Even if one area of the business takes a hit, the others can kind of help cushion the blow.
Exactly. It creates a more resilient and balanced business model.
Okay, so we've got a pretty good grasp on their current financial performance.
Yeah.
But what about the future?
Right.
What key events or factors could impact Balrampur Chini's business in the coming quarters?
Well, the investor presentation actually outlines some key events to watch out for.
Okay.
One of the biggest ones is the potential for a revision in ethanol prices.
Oh, right. Like what happened in 2023?
Yeah, remember how that previous government order restricting feedstock availability really impacted their distillery segment?
Yeah, that was a big blow.
It was.
So it sounds like government policy is a major wild card for them.
It is.
What else is on their radar?
Well, another key factor is the potential revision of the minimum selling price for sugar.
The MSP.
Yes, the MSP. This is the price floor set by the government to ensure a minimum level of profitability for sugar mills.
Right, so any changes to that MSP could directly impact their sugar segment's earnings.
That's right.
So basically, they're at the mercy of the government.
To a certain extent, yes.
When it comes to both ethanol and sugar pricing,
the sugar industry operates within a regulated environment, so those policies definitely have a big influence.
Got it. So what about exports? Does Balrampur Chini ship their products overseas?
They do, and the investor presentation actually mentions that the export policy for the upcoming sugar season is another key event to watch.
Okay.
Favorable export policies could open up new markets for their sugar, which would be great for their sales volumes and their profitability.
So external factors like international demand and trade policies also play a role. It's not just about what's happening within India.
Right.
What about internal factors? Are there any initiatives or strategies within the company that we should be paying attention to?
Absolutely. One of the biggest internal factors is their ongoing investment in that PLA bioplastic plant.
Oh, right.
That we discussed earlier. Remember, this is a long-term play that could fundamentally change their business model.
But is there anything specific about the PLA plant that we should be watching for in the coming quarters?
Well, the investor presentation actually provides some updates on the project's progress. They've secured all the necessary land.
Okay.
And they've signed contracts with foreign technology partners.
So they're really putting things into action.
Exactly. And they've already imported the first batch of PLA for analysis.
Wow.
Which suggests they're gearing up for commercial production soon.
So this PLA venture is really starting to feel like a game changer for them.
It is.
It's a bold move to shift away from relying solely on sugar production and move towards sustainable bioplastics.
It certainly is. It speaks volumes about their long-term vision.
Yeah, they're aiming to be leaders in this emerging bioeconomy.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got government policies on ethanol and sugar pricing export policies, and the PLA plant's progress as key things to keep an eye on. Anything else we should be watching?
Well, the investor presentation also mentioned the announcement of the state-advised price of sugarcane in Uttar Pradesh.
The SAP.
Yeah, the SAP.
So another government influence factor.
Yes. This is essentially the price that sugar mills are advised to pay to sugarcane farmers.
So that could impact their cost and profitability.
Exactly. The price of sugarcane is a major input cost for sugar mills. So any changes to the SAP will definitely have ripple effects on their operations.
It's like trying to solve a giant jigsaw puzzle.
It is, but that's the exciting part. We're not just looking at the numbers.
Right.
We're trying to understand the story behind those numbers and what they tell us about Balrampur Chini's overall strategy.
Okay, so we've covered Oxyla FinServ's performance, key events to watch, and the progress of the PLA plant.
Yes.
But we still haven't addressed that massive 300% dividend despite the dip in revenue.
Right.
What message are they sending with that move?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Are they trying to reassure investors that everything is fine?
Or is it a strategic move to attract new investors?
It could be.
While they're diversifying their portfolio.
Yeah, we need to explore this a little bit further.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. We're going to be right back to tackle that massive dividend question.
All right, we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Balrampur Chini's Q2 FY25 results.
Yeah.
And we got to address the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah.
That massive 300% dividend payout, despite the fact that their revenue is down.
It's a fascinating puzzle.
It is. What's the story here?
Well, I think there could be several layers to this message.
Okay.
On one hand, that dividend could be a signal of confidence.
So they're saying, hey, look, we're still making money.
Yeah.
Our financials are strong. We're sharing the wealth with our shareholders.
It's a classic way to keep investors happy.
Especially when those revenue numbers.
Yeah, especially when those top-line numbers might be telling a different story.
So it's a bit of a don't worry, be happy message to investors?
It could be part of it.
Okay.
But remember, we've seen they're not just resting on their laurels.
Right.
They're actively investing in the future.
With that PLA plant.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this dividend payout could also be a way to free up some cash flow for these new ventures.
So it's not about denying the challenges.
No.
It's about showing that they're taking proactive steps.
Right.
But they're still rewarding their investors.
Exactly.
And we can't forget about the sugar industry.
Right. It's cyclical.
Yeah, very up and down.
They've weathered storms before.
Mm-hmm.
This dividend could be a way of smoothing out the ride for investors,
Okay.
ensuring continued support even when things get a little bumpy.
Makes sense, but it does make you wonder, are they sacrificing long-term growth
Right.
for short-term appeasement?
It's a valid question. Could they be using this cash to bolster that PLA project even further?
Right, exactly.
It's a balancing act, weighing the need to maintain investor confidence
Right.
against the need to invest in future growth.
Tough decision.
There's no easy answer.
So ultimately it comes down to their strategy, right?
Yeah. What's their long game?
What are they thinking?
Are they going all in on bioplastics while keeping the sugar business steady?
Or do they have a completely different plan in mind?
Well, unfortunately, those financial statements don't come with a crystal ball.
Darn.
But they do offer some clues.
Okay.
Their investment in oxylofinserve, their consistent sugarcane crushing and sugar production, even their maneuvers in the ethanol market.
Yeah.
It all points to a company that's adaptable, that's diversifying, and that's not putting all their eggs in one basket.
So I guess we take a wait-and-see approach for now.
In a way, yes. But that's the beauty of these deep dives.
Right.
We've gone beyond just reading the numbers on a page.
Absolutely.
We've equipped you with the knowledge to interpret future developments, understand the forces at play, and really grasp Balrampur Chini's multifaceted strategies.
There's so much more than just revenue down, dividend up.
Exactly.
Like we've really gotten a sense of this business.
Their core sugar operations, their ethanol production, their venture into bioplastics, even their stake in a financial services company.
It's clear that Balrampur Chini is a company in motion.
Absolutely. And remember, financial statements aren't just about the numbers.
Yeah.
They're stories waiting to be told.
They are. And now our listeners have the tools
That's right.
to interpret those stories, draw their own conclusions about what the future holds for Balrampur Chini Mills Ltd.
Yeah. Will their bold moves pay off?
Right.
Will their diversification strategy shield them from the uncertainties of the market? Only time will tell.
It's a really interesting company to watch.
It is. The market is constantly changing, always keeping us on our toes.
Yeah. But with a curious mind and the right knowledge,
You got it.
you can navigate its twists and turns with confidence.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's all for this deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll catch you next time.